Hey, this is James Francis, and in this video you're going to learn how you can create awesome content, and that's what we all like. So, the first thing you need to do when creating content is to add value. Now, not a lot of people do this and they create content just for the sake of it, but you need to ask yourself this question every time you create some content. That does it actually serve a purpose to the reader? And will it actually help people? If not, then they'll leave after the first few paragraphs, which is not good because then you won't get any subscribers, you won't get any permanent customers, and then you just won't earn a lot of money, which is bad in general. The second thing you need to take into consideration when writing content is to build your personal brand, because every time you write some content, that reflects on who you are, what people think of you, and what they expect of you. So you need to create a writing style. So if you're writing towards a younger audience, then you might want to use a bit more everyday language. So it'd be like, "Hey guys, what you up to? Sup in the hood?" Not actually like that, but still, you know what I mean. You use words like "gonna" and "freaking" and all this sort of stuff. I mean, you see like Frank Kern and Michael Cheney use this sort of stuff, and it works really well. But you've got to understand your audience, which is where the other video comes in, which is how to see through the eyes of your niche. This is why that's so important. And this also sets the bar for what people should expect in future from you, because every time you write something, people might always want to know what will come next, what you're actually going to do and give them next. Hopefully, anyway, because that's what you want them to think. So, another thing you need to do is to do something nobody else has done before, because if you're just covering the same thing over and over again, they're not going to be interested, which is what that says there. I mean, who enjoys reading the same boring content over and over again? Just raise your hand. Nobody, because it's boring and you will leave. So, don't be a sheep. I would put a picture of a sheep there, but I probably wouldn't have room in the PowerPoint. But still, you need to talk about something new and exciting by developing new methods. Now, this is really effective because the best way to be get rich quick or whatever else, whatever phrase you want to use, but in short, the best way to get rich quick is to develop new methods and create something new, a new system, or just do something where nobody else has done anything like it before. Or if you want to do something that people have covered, then you can put a twist on stuff. I know it's a really cool headline, but I couldn't think of anything else because I'm lazy. But essentially, you need to put a twist on things that already exist, because old content can still be taught in new and exciting ways, which will help your readers to understand stuff better than they ever did before. Because everyone's learning style is different. Some people see visually, some people learn through audio, some people prefer things to be shown over the shoulder, like a Camtasia video, like step by step. Some people prefer to read articles and just read step by step things. So everybody's different, everybody doesn't understand some things, and then some people will help then people solve that problem with different wording, different pictures, and all sorts of stuff. So you need to take that into consideration. So you need to put a twist on stuff and make it your own, basically. So you do this by adding personality into the mix and basically explaining it how you want to. Don't be a sheep. Again, don't be a sheep. Do things the way you want to. And that's instant brand recognition towards yourself. So the fifth thing you need to do to create awesome content is to use short paragraphs, because there's nothing worse than arriving at a page and it's full chock-a-block of text all the way down, a slab of text, and you think, wow, I'm not going to read all that, and it just looks crazy to the eye. Nobody's ever going to read that unless you're really bored. So you are not writing a novel. Please remember that when you're writing content, because you're not writing the next Harry Potter or the next thrilling book or whatever else. And when you do write short paragraphs, this does enhance readability. People are more inclined to read it because it looks as though it's easy to read, it's well laid out, and it's just summarised in each paragraph. It's really short. So this also prevents people leaving after the first glance of the massive block of text, which I've just explained. So the sixth thing is to invite conversation and viewpoints. Now this is an awesome way of getting traffic, because if their mate says to them, if one guy says to their mate, says, "Hey guys, look at this thing. I think you should leave your comments on this page because I've just left mine and I don't agree with this guy," and it's a bit of a viable traffic thing, really. So you need to invite conversation and viewpoints into your content. Now this is really good for topical issues. So if you have a strong viewpoint on something, state your viewpoints in the content, like an article or a blog post. Then at the end of that content or blog post, just say, what do you think? I mean, do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Leave a comment below. And then that is awesome at generating lots of comments and social proof. So whenever you do get comments on a blog post or another piece of content, you'll get three things. One of which is social proof, because other people see how other people are believing that it's interesting, and they'll be more inclined to read it. So if one post has got 300 comments and you think, oh, this is really good, a lot of people are reading this, and it's obviously good because people are commenting on it. Another thing is involvement, because they actually believe part of the, well, they actually become part of the content. If they leave a comment, then they are involved in the communication. Basically, they're involved in the piece of content, and other people get to see them involved in that post, which is a nice feeling for a lot of people, which also leads to attachment. So they now have an emotional reaction to it, and they're more likely to remember it, and you too, because they think, hey, I left that comment on that page, and so and so replied with this, and that whole experience relates back to your content, and then they'll remember you with that content. Also, the last thing you can do is to make it interesting. Please, please, please don't make it boring. Please, it's the worst thing ever. Now, there's boring people have a small amount of friends. Fact, usually. So, the guy at the party who's doing the crazy stuff with all the drinks and all that sort of stuff, you know, the guy who has a massive crowd around him, he's the cool person, and that just shows that people like to be entertained. So when you make some content interesting, people are more likely to read it, which will lead to lower bounce rates, so they don't just look at the page and leave, which is an interesting thing to do with Google AdWords. It highs your quality score with low bounce rates. And your readers will remember it more. They'll think, hey, that's the crazy guy who talks about this, and then they'll tell another guy to read it, or another girl, female, whatever else. And they'll say, hey, that was a really good blog post, check it out, and then that's just doing work for you, really. It's doing your marketing for you. So after they've read it and they found it really interesting, they'll associate you as being interesting too. So if they found the content really interesting, then they'll associate you as being interesting too. And that's really important. So to have a little recap here, awesome content must always, always, always take into these things. They should take into adding value into the user experience. They should build your personal brand. They should do something nobody else has done before. They should put a twist on stuff. They should have short paragraphs. They should invite conversation and viewpoints. And they should be interesting. So I should write those down and have this checklist next to every time you write an article, a blog post, a video, or an audio series. Anything you do, just make it interesting, add value, and all that stuff. All those 7 points need to be taken into consideration. So your action step for this video is one step, and all you need to do is to create 5 articles which incorporate all 7 of those requirements. I mean, with the two there where you put a twist on stuff or do something nobody else has done before, 3 and 4, you can do either or both of those, whichever you like to do. I mean, if you can do something which nobody has done before, then that's awesome. But if you want to cover something which somebody's done before, then just put a twist on it. I mean, it's 6 or 7 points, whichever. So get going with creating your 5 articles and incorporate all of those 7 requirements. So get going, and I hope you like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.